Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I hope you're all happy and healthy, doing the things you love. It's another day in Tottenham world, another big breaking news story. Heung-Min Son, Captain Fantastic, the legend that is Sonny lad, Sonny boy. Well, tomorrow is going to be his last game. He has officially announced in the press conference, the pre-match press conference in Korea, that tomorrow is his last time donning the shirt. He's going to leave the football club. A very teary and emotional farewell from a lot of people, apparently, around Tottenham, saying goodbye, or maybe prematurely, but saying goodbye, in essence, for our amazing leader who's been with the club for 10 years. And I think a perfect way to say goodbye in front of his adoring home fans in Korea. Been saying it for a long time. I think a lot of us have, that unfortunately time waits for no man. And it was important that Sonny either chose the Europa League final for the last time for him to wear the Tottenham shirt in a competitive game, or for him to see out the requirement in the contract for the tour and to do it in Korea in a preseason friendly against Newcastle. That latter option has been the selected option by the player. It looks like he's going to go to LAFC. And talking about LAFC, we do also have another update from the Twitter handle that actually brought out the initial story about signing to LAFC all the way back in July of 2024, and then updated us a month or so ago saying that actually he didn't want to go. He was going to stay. But then more recently, obviously, this story is broken that he is going to leave, probably to LAFC. But we do have another story from those guys out in Korea, who are talking about the signing of Catalina N. Kim, who has been hired as the Chief Development and Corporate Officer at Tottenham Hotspur. So we're going to bring that to your attention, guys. Before we do, there's also a couple of other stories out there regarding Kolo Muani and Enzo Millot, both two players who both absolutely improved Tottenham, who would be remarkable signings and to really kickstart the second half of this transfer window. Guys, please do smash the like button if you enjoy these updates. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment or two. Let me know your thoughts both on Sonny and and on the rest of the stories as we go through them, guys. Let's start with the news from Sonny. We've got the Sky Sports news here. I can bring it up for you. Sorry, it's a bit. My computer's a bit slow this morning, a bit like I am, just woken up. And here we go. Let's take a little look-see, shall we, at what's going on. So, Tottenham captain Heung-Min Son has announced he will be leaving the club this summer. The forward announced his decision in a press conference ahead of Spurs' pre-season friendly against Newcastle in the player's native South Korea on Sunday, which could be his final game for the club. Spurs head coach Thomas Frank has confirmed that Son will start and captain the team on Sunday. Son wants to move to Major League Soccer despite renewed interest from Saudi Arabia. The MLS and LAFC, who have been strongly linked to the player, will now accelerate talks with Spurs over Son's transfer. The quote from Sonny, Captain Fantastic, was, "I have decided to leave the club this summer. Respectfully, the club is helping me with this decision," said an emotional Son. "It was the most difficult decision I have made in my career. Such amazing memories. It was so hard to make the decision. I need a new environment to push myself. I need a little bit of change. 10 years is a long time. I came to North London as a kid, 23 years old, such a young age. I leave this club as a grown man, a very proud man. I want to say thank you to all the Spurs fans for giving me so much love. I hope the goodbye is also good timing, and this is the right time to make that decision. I hope everyone can accept that and respect that." Son confirmed that he has made his decision to leave a while ago, but only told a few players. New Spurs boss Frank knew of Son's decision ahead of their first preseason game at Reading earlier this month. Son is fourth on the list of Spurs' all-time record goal scorers, behind only Harry Kane, Jimmy Greaves and Bobby Smith. He has 173 goals and 101 assists for Spurs in all competitions, including 127 goals, 27 assists in 333 matches in the Premier League. The 33-year-old's last competitive game for the club is set to be the Europa League final win over Manchester United in Bilbao last season. The winger was a second-half substitute in that match and lifted the trophy after full-time, Spurs' first major honour since 2008. Romero, who was linked with a move away from the Spurs this summer himself, is likely to be the new captain of the North London club. Speaking in the same press conference, the new Spurs head coach Frank described Son as one of the best Premier League wingers there has ever been. For me personally, he said, I would love to work with him. He is a fantastic person and a player. I've had the opportunity to watch him from a distance, said the Dane. He has been here 10 years at Spurs, not just 10 years, but 10 amazing years. He is truly a Spurs legend in every aspect. I actually think one of the best players who have ever played in the Premier League as a winger, in my opinion. I like the club has been open to it because it's never easy to find that perfect timing. And me coming in a little bit from the side, I think it's probably the perfect timing going out on a high. He's been here for 10 years, won a well-deserved trophy, been a key player for many seasons. It's almost the perfect ending to a happy family. I think it's very clear. It's no secret that Sonny will start and will lead the team out as captain. So I'm looking forward to that in many ways. And if it is to be the last game for Sonny, what a place to do it in South Korea, his home country, in front of his home fans. That could potentially be a beautiful ending, first and foremost, with the biggest respect to Sonny and what he's done for the club. Absolutely sensational stuff. Absolutely sensational from Thomas Frank. Fantastic words from Sonny as well. Absolute respect to the guy and absolute gratitude for everything he's put in. You know, he could have left a long time ago. He didn't. He chose to stay. And the story was just a perfect finish for a remarkable guy, the most respectful, the most down to earth and humble of human beings, despite his superstardom. And I think I've been saying, I think we've all been saying it, haven't we, guys, that it would have been horrendous to have seen him, you know, sort of fall down the pecking order, decline in his performances, which I think that you could already start to see people were starting to kind of get worried about, very much so. And consequently, for him to leave the last competitive game lifting the trophy and then his last time wearing the shirt, hopefully in front of the Korean fans, is it's just, I think it's the perfect way to go. So I wish him all the best in the future. I hope he'll do wonderful things in LA, have a wonderful time out there, and maybe lift that club's kind of recognition. And and he's always welcome at the club. I'm sure he could come back and be an ambassador in the future. It's a perfect story. And obviously, look, from a Tottenham perspective, that obviously does allow possibly for one, maybe two, if we can also find the new home for Emmanuel Solomon. Jamie Donnelly, by the way, is likely to leave the club. I think, was it Paul O'Keefe or John Wenham? One of these two came out yesterday and said that they've heard that Jamie Donnelly's going on loan to a championship club for the year, which I think is fine. I would have liked to have seen him hang around because I just think that guy personally has got something in him where I don't think it matters what level of water, what depth of water you throw him in. I think he'd always find a way to swim because I just think he has that sort of technique and that eye for the game, football IQ, where he can do things at his young age that it doesn't really matter what level you're showing yourself at. You're doing things that are unbelievably clever. And so I think that he could do all those things at the Premier League level too. But if we have to wait another year to see that, that's fine with me. Good luck to him. Now, as I say, if you can find a home for, say, Bissouma, and then also for maybe one of Solomon or Richarlison, then you can bring in one or two of these other stories that we're going to come to in a second, which are really exciting, by the way, guys. Super exciting. Please smash the like. Before we get into that, though, I just want to carry on with this story around Sonny for a little while, because this particular group, Hanjun Football-Asian.com, who's under the Twitter handle Holazuni. Well, these were the guys that initially, in fact, I think you can see it here on the is it, where is it? Oh, they've taken it down now. They had a pinned tweet that was out. They've replaced it with this particular one. The pinned tweet before was when they were showing that they were the first people to bring the LAFC story from Sonny to Tottenham all the way back last summer, and was expecting something to happen in January. That didn't happen. And obviously now it looks like it's coming true. So they've only got a small following base, but they seem to be people that are ahead of the curve with Korean football insight. So this one is also really interesting. It's a bit more on the kind of commercial side. So I know that's not for everybody, but bear with me because I think it is meaningful. Official, Tottenham Hotspur have appointed Catalina Kim as Chief Corporate and Development Advisor, the first Asian woman to hold a senior exec role at a Premier League club in the Big Six, a multilingual super agent and CEO of C&P Sports. Kim played key roles in major European football deals, including the Manchester City takeover and Chelsea sale. She's now she's also an RSA fellow. She will lead Spurs' global corporate strategy and long-term partnership development. sort of begs the question as to why now. Is it because of her connections in Asia? Well, not necessarily. I believe that she, as it says there, that she was very much involved in the Manchester City takeover with sort of obviously Middle Eastern ownership with Abu Dhabi, and she was involved in the Chelsea sale as well. I think my man Connor sent me this text yesterday. Let me just bring it up. He said she was involved with Nick Candy's bid. Nick Candy, who is a massive property developer and the husband of Australian singer Holly Valance. She was involved in their bid, in his bid to buy Chelsea. Now, I've taken a quick look-see at C&P Sports, who are the company that she's a director on, and they are interested very much in property. This guy, Mark Harubi, is his technical term is a real estate agent, but he's a director of that company, as is Kim here, and you can see it. They are both massively into property, so I'm not sure how this kind of overlaps into Tottenham Hotspur. Is she involved in the property side, or is it mainly sort of commercial deals and sponsorship deals? I don't know. The last thing I'll show you though is she did also, for what it's worth, and again, thank you to Connor Levynomics for bringing this to my attention. She did bring a partnership in 2024 to Tottenham Hotspur. This is her personal handle. I'm delighted to announce a new partnership between the Fursies Group, the Fursis Group, and Tottenham Hotspur FC. Thank you to everyone being involved. I, again, don't know too much about it, but it looks like, without being too much for appropriation, this is obviously something that I would imagine is from the Far East as well. So it's an interesting connection. She's clearly very, very talented, very ambitious, and very intelligent lady. And look, if this has anything to do with the takeover, who knows? Does this maybe have anything to do with the property naming rights deal that's being mentioned by myself and Johnny, for example, for absolutely forever? For a lot of people, all the way back in December, I was saying to you guys that the share issues were clearly a sign of something happening. Then there was the NDAs with Amanda Staveley, and then more lately, of course, Charrington and Vinay coming in. And then in the last couple of weeks, we've heard a lot more about this potential £500 million deal for a 20-year naming rights with potentially Saudi Aramco, one of the companies that I suggested a few weeks ago. We don't know. There's nothing sort of concrete on that, but the rumours are out that apparently the £500 million might be on some sort of discount. It might be that the actual price would have been 600 million, but some people are suggesting that it's 500 million all up front. So that's a big difference. Obviously, there's a sort of a sort of pro and a con to getting regular income versus getting it all up front. You probably have to give some sort of discount to get all that money up front, maybe a 10, 15% discount on the overarching actual value. And if you're going to get it all up front from ambitious investors that have a lot of access to liquidity, like, for example, Saudi Aramco or the NEOM property group. Remember, NEOM has a team in Saudi Arabia. They're also the guys that I think are building that giant kind of futuristic dystopian city in the desert that's on a big giant glass. They're calling it the Wall, I think, or something. Really, really interesting stuff. And again, property, Catalina, it all kind of makes sense. I don't know anything, as you know. I'm just letting you know some joined up thinking, and you can come to some conclusions. So interesting update there. Interesting update for sure. And I just want to move forward, guys, to this story from Randall Kolo Muani that the move to Juventus has stalled. Okay, this isn't just from Touchline. This is out everywhere this morning, and that yesterday, the ex-Tottenham CEO Comoli, I think his name was, is saying, here we go. Juventus GD Comoli confirms that Randall Kolo Muani deal is on. This was also on Thursday, July 31st. Yes, Kolo Muani wants to return to Juventus. We are talking with Paris Saint-Germain about that. He wants to rejoin us, so there's no rush. Well, in the last 24 hours, it looks like maybe that there's a lot of teams that are in the Premier League that are stepping up. A lot of the big journalists now are saying, actually, it's stalled. It's fallen over a little bit because Juventus think that there's no rush, but actually PSG have got their own intentions and want to get a wriggle on. And at this point, Juventus are only willing to do a a loan with an option. PSG want an obligation. There's apparently a couple of teams in the Premier League that are willing to either pay the money up front, like the 45 million euros that they want for him, or to do it on a loan with an obligation. And that PSG are probably more interested in that. Now, Juventus might be resting on their laurels and thinking, well, just because the player last year had the chance to join Tottenham in January, rather, and he said no, he went to go to Juventus, even though it was on more favourable terms to Juve, or Spurs had offered more favourable terms, apparently, than Juve had, and because the player was so adamant that he ended up wanting to go, and PSG allowed it. Look, Tottenham are a different entity right now, aren't they? We have Champions League football, we have a new manager, we have a new project, we have some exciting players hopefully coming in the future, as one as we've already signed in Kudus and João Palhinha, whose medical was passed yesterday, according to reports, guys. So that looks like there's no hang-ups or hiccups there that are going to happen. Very exciting stuff. And if Kolo Muani was to look at Tottenham, and if PSG were to put a little bit more pressure and say, actually, Juve resting on their laurels here, we need to make something happen. So, Kolo, sorry, you're not going to Juve because they're not willing to do an option. So pick someone else, or you can stay here. Then we'll see. We will see, guys. But at the same time, like, part of me, as much as I'd rate the player, I really do rate him. I think he's an all-rounder. I think he's a 360 centre forward, the complete centre forward. When he's absolutely on it, he's unplayable. Obviously, there's times when he's a little bit sloppy, but that comes with everyone, I guess. He comes with a big price tag, or he came with a big price tag when he went to PSG. Hasn't really worked out there. Maybe a team like Tottenham will be the perfect project for him to kind of bring himself back up to the top level. We shall see. But that story apparently is fresh, and apparently is growing this morning, that Tottenham and Newcastle and maybe Manchester United are all fishing around in that pool today. And we'll see if there's something breaks. It just feels like there's been 2 or 3 weeks of stagnation. The energy around Tottenham has been really heavy and sort of disappointing and frustrating. Then the Arsenal game happened. Everyone got an instant lift. Then the Palhinha story's out. Everyone's back on side. And now if you can follow that up with potentially a Kolo Muani, potentially a Lucas Paqueta, who I still would think is my first choice for a 10/8. But the other story that broke yesterday, guys, is Mr. Enzo Millot. Absolute baller. Enzo Millot is a player that I would love to see. An entirely different sort of player to like a Lucas Paqueta, but can play in the 8 if necessary. Certainly is an attacking midfielder by trade. Can also play out on the right. Plays for France. Tottenham seemingly wanting to go out and get quite a lot of French players at the moment. I'm going to go through his stats in just a second. Let me just see if I have got the story up. If I have got the story up for us here. Here we go. Tottenham Hotspur are interested in signing the Stuttgart midfielder Enzo Millot during the summer transfer window. The player has been heavily linked with Atletico Madrid, but they will face competition from the Premier League club. According to Estadio Deportivo, Tottenham have entered the bidding to sign the French midfielder, and they are very serious about getting the deal done. Quote, very serious. We love to see it, as long as it's true. They need more quality and depth in the middle of the park, and the Frenchman could prove to be the ideal acquisition. He has the physicality and technical attributes to do well in English football, and he could be an important player for Tottenham. They will be able to offer him Champions League football for the upcoming season, and they have an ambitious project as well. Regular football in England could bring out the best in him and help him fulfill his potential. Absolute monster is Enzo Millot. Listen, for me, Enzo Millot, guys, is a player that you don't turn down if you can make it happen. All right, so again, just for what it's worth, as you always know with these FB ref stats, okay, you have to bake in the context of the minutes played. You have to bake in the context of, so he's played 2-5-3-1, which is more than okay. It's more than a decent enough sample size. But because he can play as an 8 and he can play as a 10 and has even had minutes out on the right, you're going to see, as I always say, you're going to see a sharp shift in these green bars and red bars when you're comparing him to attacking midfielders and wingers versus midfielders. Let's just have a quick look and you'll see what I mean. So versus midfielders, his output is sensational. Right? A goal every 3 games, give or take, 3.5 games. Not non-penalty expected goals, 99th percentile. This is because a lot of the time he's playing as an attacking midfielder. You'll see, obviously, his passing stats will go down a little bit, although they're still actually incredibly strong, aren't they? But you should be able to see a slight difference. But this is actually insane. As a 10/right winger, his passing stats compared to midfielders who get on the ball more often and who are more in control of the pace of the game, he's still in the 97th, 96th percentile for short, 88th percentile for medium, and obviously his long passes is less likely to take place when he's playing in that 10 role. passes into the final third, 4.23 per game. Absolutely lovely. Love to see it. He plays on the high line for Stuttgart as well. So it's a nice little kind of insight into the sort of player that we have. He's fantastic at dribbling, guys. Sensational dribbler of the ball. And I'm just trying to find my... here we go. 1 second. Just trying to find my my notes here. Here we go. Here it is. So his ball recovery stuff is sensational, right? Absolutely. Love his ability to win the ball back high up the pitch is just phenomenal. He's like a kind of hungry, like a sort of Morgan Gibbs White in that regard, or a Lucas Paqueta in that he's crafty, he's feisty. He's not that tall. He's not that sort of physical. He's not weak in any way, shape, or form. But he's a slender build, but his physicality, his strength is actually very much like undersold. He's a very strong, feisty player, but he is a slight and slender and smaller guy. He's versatile, obviously, which is what Tottenham seem to love. Attacking midfielder, but can play on the right, can play in the six. His passing range is sensational, and his dribbling and his agility, his ability to get the ball in the half space, on the half turn, and then just drive into players. He's terrifying. He's a scary player to be doing that through the middle and then leaning out onto the right-hand side. You have a Kudus that could do that on the right. If now we can go and get a left winger to replace Sonny, maybe we won't get a left winger, by the way. Maybe we already think we have Mathys Tel and Udogie, two young French under-21 internationals that will be fighting out for the same position. Be interesting to see how they get on that because they're very close friends. But if you can then go and get someone like a Kolo Muani or somebody else, again, I'll go back to my number one choice in a Micky, then you have a vastly improved front line and a midfield that is a lot stronger, a lot more physical and creative at the same time than we did last season. Our back four already seems to be set, with Romero seemingly wanting to stay now and be the captain of the football club. I'm okay with it as long as he keeps his mouth shut about any of the his thoughts or his agent's thoughts on engineering transfers by calling out the football club. If he's going to get a new contract, if he's going to stay and be captain, then act like it on the pitch as much, or off the pitch as much as on the pitch, and I'll be more than happy. There's a little bit of room in Enzo Millot's sort of locker for improvement in his finishing, if I'm entirely honest. Whilst he does create a lot of goals and score a lot of goals, his sometimes I think he gets himself in a lot more opportunities than he actually converts. But a fantastic midfielder that can do a little bit of everything. Just going back to his stats here, as you can see, shot creating actions from fouls drawn, 1 in every 4 games. Absolutely, goal creating actions. He does something every 2 games that creates a goal. You can't ask for more than that from a midfielder that can play in the 10, in my opinion. Like defensively as well, guys, get stuck in. Interceptions, right? He's not someone who's going to shy away. Blocks, he puts his body on the line. Passes blocked as well. He knows how to read the game and intercept these sorts of things. Touches, 65 touches a game, predominantly as a 10. Very impressive for a Stuttgart team, by the way. It's not like he's doing it in a team that is like explosive and that just controls and has so much ball possession. Stuttgart is a team that they're an attractive team to watch, but they're certainly not chomping at the bit to lift titles in Germany anytime soon. So to be doing this sort of stats, he's almost, I guess, like a Gibbs White type of player, if actually, like comparing the sort of levels at Nottingham Forest and that, it's not too dissimilar. And I think it would be an absolute wonderful thing if we could go and hijack any sort of deals that are happening out there. Carries, 89th percentile, 40 carries per game. Love to see it. And passes received. Look, he's not someone that is going to shy away from the game. He's always making himself open to be a part of the build-up. Ball recoveries, guys, 4.84 ball recoveries per game from a 10/an 8. Sensational stuff. A little bit of that context has to be in the way that Stuttgart play their football, but it is a very, very exciting story if that one is true. And like I say, it's coming out of Deportivo in Spain, so something to take a look at. Here's the story from Hotspur HQ, just to round up from James Cormack, guys. It looks like we know where Cuti will be playing his football next season. Cuti Romero is here to stay. Well, that's if you believe the Argentinian's latest Instagram caption celebrating Thursday's win over Arsenal. Romero, so pivotal to our Europa League success, yada, yada, yada. Where's it actually? So here we go. Here he is. Cuti Romero on Instagram. He getting ready for what's coming this season is what he said on Instagram. So looks like Cuti's going to stay. Looks like Porro And Udogie / Jed Spence and Micky van der Ven will be our starting four. There are, of course, these rumours out, guys, that we might be looking at Araujo from Barcelona as a right back / right-sided centre-back. I had this discussion with Johnny yesterday on Football Inc. By the way, get over there. We'll be over there live early this morning. He sort of made the argument that whilst you could ask Jed Spence to play left back and Araujo to play right back, if you're going to buy a right-sided fullback / centre back, then you're not really sort of filling in the hole here of that left-sided centre back position that's also needed to cover in case Micky van der Ven gets injured, which of course he probably will do. And that's a fair point. I think it would be much more suitable to go and get a versatile defender that's left-sided, left-footed, that can do the left back spot and the left-sided centre back spot. But listen, when for me, Araujo is he's a wonderful player. He's a little bit down on his luck. He's a little bit despondent, a little bit, I don't know, just affected by some of the things that have happened in the last couple of years to him in his playing time. But deep down, there's an absolute baller in there. And I do think that maybe it might be problematic, but I do think that Kevin Danso is probably capable of shifting over. Romero has said he's capable of shifting over. I think Vescovic will probably be, for this early in his career, if he is going to stay at Tottenham this summer, I think he would be more likely to play on the right-hand side. Dragassin's not going to be back for a while, so that's a conversation we can have then. But look, we do have Ben Davies who can fill in there if necessary. But again, I make the same argument a little bit with Ben Davies. Whilst I think he's very dependable, I think he would be the target of any team if you knew that you were playing against, if it was Porro, Romero, Ben Davies and Jed Spence, or Ben Davies as a left back to be the fourth left back and somebody that wasn't a left footer. I think that side would be the side that would be attacked by opposition teams that have ambitions to do the SWOT analysis. It's an interesting day, though, guys. Enzo Millot, for me, Alatata. I'd still rather have Lucas Paqueta because he's proven in the Premier League. But Enzo Millot, for me, is he's a very, very, very talented player. He's only just turned 23, so a lot of time on his side. And a player that I'd love to see. I really would. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Also, just want to say a massive thank you to Daddy Sonny, Heung-Min Son, for your unbelievable time at Tottenham Hotspur. Wishing you all the best tomorrow on Sunday for your final game, and then all the best for your move to probably LA at this stage. But what a champion he's been, what a legend he is and will ever be. I really do think this is the right move, and I think that we should all be somewhat sad about saying goodbye, but at the same time, understanding and respecting the decision, believing it's the best for him, believing it's the best for us, believing it's the best for everybody surrounding that kind of story, because the last thing we want is to see the decline of a legend and then be remembered for the sort of the part of the end that doesn't reflect the overarching narrative of Heung-Min Son. Love you, buddy. Love you all as well. Please hit hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification button. I'll be back later on for a live stream. But also check out Football Inc. today. I think we'll be going live at about 1 p.m. UK time, something around there. But keep a lookout, and I'll see you later on, guys. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, bye-bye.